Bonjour, mes chéris. Welcome to Eve of Enlightenment, where namaste balanced, namaste joyful, and namaste fly. Hi, I'm Eve Knowles with Eve of Enlightenment, and I've created this channel in hopes of inspiring and connecting with all of you. And I plan on doing that by sharing my life, my stories, and living out loud. Recently, I've received a lot of messages in my DMs from Instagram and Facebook and all my social media outlets about my background. And so I wanted to take this opportunity and share with you who I am and where I come from. So several of my followers have a tendency to ask me what my ethnic background is. It seems to be a very common question, and it's not just from people who follow me on my social media, but it's also from people on the street. Apparently, it's a little bit confusing. So I don't know, what's your guess? What do you think? Well, it's actually African American and Caucasian. My mother was white, my father was black. And so in the previous question, when I mentioned that my father was and my mother was black and white, the reason why I use the past tense is because that I was adopted. And this is something that comes up also because there's pictures of myself with my mother on a lot of the social media, and my mother is actually 92 years old, and she is my adopted mother. I was adopted at 8 weeks old, and I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and that's where I was adopted from. The next question that I get, and that I've received recently from some of my followers, is about my tattoos. So I have multiple tattoos, but this is the most obvious one, clearly. And so the question is, what does it signify, or what does it represent? And so for me, this is Buddha, and this specific Buddha is Siddhartha Gautama. And it's significant to me because I actually lived 6 years in Thailand and a year in Malaysia. And so my upbringing, I was surrounded by Buddhism, and it is very significant to me. Buddha is also surrounded by all of the chakras, and so that's what this signifies. And then on the bottom part of my arm, I have a monk. And I'm not done with my sleeve yet, but this will be a complete sleeve eventually. And this monk is a monk on a journey, and he's walking into temples. And so the temples will be put in. Also, I have a small tattoo here. It matches my daughter's tattoo, and it means life, as well as my compass. And my compass keeps me centered, and it keeps me moving in the proper direction. Some of my followers ask me about my animals and my pets and so on. I am an animal lover. I love animals. This here is Pepe. Pepe is my dog slash gerbil slash rat. And Pepe was a dog that was left to me by my beautiful and wonderful niece. And so now I am the proud owner of a Papillon Chihuahua mix. So I also have the privilege of having people jump into my DMs asking me if I'm single or married or what my status is. And I'm happy to say that I'm single. But I think a better question for people or men when they're asking women should be, are you available? So the next question from one of my followers is, where was I raised? And that's a tricky one because I was actually born in Baltimore and I was raised overseas. And that includes Thailand, Malaysia, the South Pacific. I've been to Europe. I've spent all of my life traveling. And I'd have to say it's in my DNA because traveling is a huge part of who I am, and it's really important to me. Listen, it's been amazing having you here with me and sharing my life with you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask below, ask in any of my social media outlets. I'm happy to answer them, and I'll answer them right here. I do look forward to future questions and conversations. What we're going to talk about and what we're going to experience here on this channel is my travel vlog. We're going to do meals and restaurants and reviews of things that are fun to eat and places to go. We're going to do movies, and we're also going to talk about self-growth and all the fun stuff in health and sex and relationships and careers and all of that good stuff, so stay tuned. And like I always say, namaste balanced, namaste joyful, and namaste fly.